Everyone's always told me I was stupid.
And
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Heroes Peak podcast. I am your host, Chris, and I'm here with two knights of the Seven of Nine Kingdoms. It's James and Mike. How are you doing today?
That's a weird ass fraction. 7 knights?
Seven of Nine Kingdoms.
Kingdoms.
Do you not get the duality of the deep joke of Seven of Nine and
Yes.
Seven of
Yes.
Nine?
It just didn't land.
Like I'm trying here.
That's how we're
I'm
doing.
pulling
Chris.
from the deep.
This is a perfect summary of
All
what
right.
we're doing.
Well, let's not spend too long. I got to go organize my gun collection by mouthfeel here soon in a bit. So
Your gun collection by mouthfeel? Is that what you
Yep.
said? Okay.
Yes.
Just, we're on a roll here today, guys. All right.
We're a fucking. Go ahead.
Mike still has the old
Actually,
logo up and everything.
I know this
like
is a
what
perfect
is going
caption
on?
of what we're about to record because that shit was funny from the beginning of the show.
All right, so we're here to talk about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which is a prequel Game of Thrones series on HBO Max, soon to be Paramount.
Yeah.
And it's what how many episodes was this thing? 6?
6.
6 episode series, very limited series. Hopefully there's a season 2. One season.
There's a season 2.
Very quick.
Yes, there will be. There
relatively
will be.
short. And we're just gonna start because I honestly had no idea this was coming down the pike at all. Now, of course, I don't know. We've probably talked about it here before. I was very late to the Game of Thrones, but we have all watched the Dragon one.
House of the Dragon.
What's the House of the Dragon? Recently together, to varying results. But I was not looking for this at all, and it just kind of popped up. And then, even then, I was like, another Game of Thrones here. I'll get to it eventually. And you guys are like, no, you gotta watch it now. So, you guys tell me, were you excited for this, being bigger Game of Thrones guys than I am?
Not really.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with a funny clip, but no.
Snarky
really.
way to say no.
Yeah. I might hit it on.
Yeah, no. So not really because I didn't know too much about it. Like I didn't read Hedge Knight or anything, and after the kind of disappointing last season of House of the Dragon, I was like, well, if this one is going to be like the same kind of show, like, I'm not too excited. So
Yeah, just to expound on what Mike said, we knew that the last season of House of the Dragon was not really well received, but this show was already greenlit before we got to see the end of the House of the Dragon show. So I was thinking, they're doubling down. This is not going to be good because you fail with the Targaryen storyline and with actual dragons more than we've ever seen before. So you got a side quest story that you want to, make a show about. This is not looking good. So just like Mike said, not really.
Yeah, and the Dune series wasn't great, and a lot of these.
I never even finished the Dune series.
Oh, you didn't finish the season? I finished the season.
No, I couldn't, man. I was watching it and because you guys know I like Dune too.
You like it
that was a good movie. Yeah. And I was like, all right, let me check out Dune. But by the third episode, I was like,
I was falling asleep.
What am I watching? Yeah.
And I don't want to get it too off track because this actually does something that I was not expecting out of a Game of Thrones, which is there really isn't that much intrigue. Like I was watching this going, okay, so when's somebody gonna get their fingers cut off, or when somebody when's the mutilation start? When's right?
Yeah.
I was so so expecting Games of Throniness, and yet I just got like this great little relationship kind of traveling band. Yes, there's some sad stuff that goes through. There's like one really great battle, but other than that, like it was just this tiny, and they kept it this small little, you know, odd couple show.
Yeah. So um, there's no in this one. There's no Game of Thrones that anybody's playing. Nobody's
No
playing that game
politicking
yet.
and stuff. Yeah.
So there's no deceptions. There's no double crossing. Well,
No
kind of, but
whispers,
not on that
horrible
level.
plots and
Right.
schemes.
Yeah. So the way I look at this show is like I compared it to you guys as like the Star Trek lower decks of the Game of Thrones world,
Mm,
and or the Mandalorian of the Game of Thrones world.
you son of a gun.
The first 2 seasons of
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Yeah, you know what,
The first
Mike?
season and
Yeah.
a
Well,
half of Mandalorian.
Mike, if
well, the guy's got to take on the young kid, and
Mike, I was thinking as you were talking, if the Orville was part of the larger Star Trek universe, that would have been a perfect example.
Mhm.
Like, this is the Orville within a larger Star Trek universe.
yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Well, if you want an anime camp, you could go Free Ren. If you're a fan of this and you want to watch an anime, Free Ren. If you like Free Ren, you want to watch a live action show, go ahead watch it.
I like free rent on
Thank
Downey.
you. Thank you.
Free rent.
Right on cue.
So really, what kicks this whole thing off? What makes it great? Like it's good when it starts. Like it's really kind of a little intriguing. It's very quiet, but once Duncan, who's your main protagonist, and Egg, your little bald guy, get together, it's just like kind of magic. It's so weird. And I talk a lot about how main relationships make or break a show or a movie, and this literally made the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you guys know I'm not a
James,
fan.
you have said before how much you hate children, and specifically child actors.
And I'm gonna triple that.
Tell us
Normally,
whether or not you hated this child.
no, normally I like, yeah, child acting for the most part. Usually it's plucky, whatever you want to say. It's terribly performed. But with the exception of the young child actor in the adolescent show on Netflix, this was the best young child actor I've seen. And it was the mannerisms. Obviously, there's a physical element too, and the head stands out, so it's pronounced, so it grabs your attention. And a cute little young face and a big ball egg head.
You felt at home watching it. Just
Yes,
say it.
like
Go ahead.
yes, nerddom. But just seeing how the character was almost like an adult in a young child's body, the way the intelligence and emotional IQ. But then the very next scene, he's like pew pew pew, like he's pretending that he's learning how to, like, you realize he's a 12-year-old child in this crazy violent universe. Before we knew that his status as a prince, it just worked. It fucking worked. And even I'm trying to think, right?
Look, there's a thing with child when writers are writing children, and they have a thing where the child is the smartest person in the room all the time, and sometimes that can wear on you. Let's talk about Leia in Obi-Wan, where it was like, huh, I feel like you could have made this more of a kid, and you kind of grew them up too much. And Egg sometimes has. I don't think he's that. Even when he's at his smartest, he seems more an educated child than he feels like he's written as an adult. And I think those are
It's not
two
just
very specific things.
not just the education, the isolation.
Mm-hmm.
This is his first foray into the world by himself,
true.
right? When he snuck
That's
off.
true.
Yeah. So now he's seeing the big picture. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to add earlier that what works between the two, Duncan and Egg, is I like the trope where you have the like you said, the well educated child, but the common man or common woman, I don't want to say anything derogatory, adult. And it just works. Because physically you just don't get it. But then there's moments where it switches. There's moments where Duncan, who's experienced more in life, will talk to Egg as a child, and Egg would be that child. there's moments like that that work when they flip it back to where you normally, the normal configuration. I thought that also worked and made it like them too. It was like gravity. Everybody else just followed around.
There's this one scene where they're sitting, and I think it's probably been memed quite a bit right by now, where where Egg says something like he feels out, like kind of like an outcast,
Mm-hmm.
and Duncan's like, "Well, when I grew up, people thought I was really dumb," and Egg's like, "Well, what did you do?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, because Duncan is kind of dumb. It's okay.
I say
Like,
common man, common person.
but I this is my Duncan mug, right? It's okay. It's oversized, a little dopey. It's fine. But what Duncan is gets brought out by Egg. He's a good guy, and he has does have some experience. He's not an idiot, as in he's gonna trip over himself and fall in the mud. He's just
Right.
he's not educated. He's never been properly educated, but the best parts of him are allowed to shine most of the time.
Damn, he's probably
He's
illiterate.
honorable. Yeah, he's honorable. He's not. He's knightly. You
Hmm.
know,
And
he's not an educated knight, but he's still
illiterate.
knightly. And yeah,
And they don't
he
overplay that too. Like, okay, he is a bit slow, and that gets him into a lot of situations that he kind of lucks out in. And just another weird thing about the show is how much it was like, well, Duncan's in a weird place now. How is his kind of dopiness gonna get him out of this, right? Like,
yeah.
cause he's not sweet talking anybody. He's not trying to scheme anybody. He's completely just a complete different character than we've seen in Game of Thrones.
Agreed. I mean,
You know,
Yeah, I was trying to think. I was trying to think of somebody comparable,
so the closest you
like
would go is
besides.
Hodor, but
oh
Hodor is
no,
kind
no,
of,
no, no, that's not a common man.
well, he's
I was
big,
thinking
He's
more
not a
of
common man.
Brienne of Tarth, right?
right? Well, I'm just you have to bring in multiple characters to be comps.
Yeah,
He is
He stands
different
alone.
because he's he's not played like a Hodor. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's got some of the qualities that you kind of give to Hodor.
mm.
And obviously Brienne, which is the big question, is he the is he the grandfather, great grandfather?
He
I don't know
is.
how many
He is.
years.
What's his name? J.R.R. Martin came out and said in an interview he is. Well, in his mind, he is. He hasn't written that connection yet.
Oh, so this is one of those, hey, that's a good idea.
Yeah, good idea. It might not be in the next book.
If we get it. Not that I would get it because I haven't read it. What the fuck do I care? But okay, so then let's go to a little bit of the larger universe. What did you guys think of the rest of the Targaryens? Our experience so far with Targaryens is, you know, the Dragon Riders, and they're in not only they're in power, they are nuclear weapons as they drive around and they're fighting each other and blah blah blah. So this is a slightly different end of their major reign. They're still in some power,
This is the
but they're still, yeah.
trying to the
This is the waning years. This is like 2026 USA kind of Targaryen.
2026. It's like the San Antonio Spurs down the stretch of last century. Um, there's something that you said about the Targaryens earlier, like Dragon Riders. I think the fact that these Targaryens to me just look normal. They're not overly pompous like the ones in House of Dragons, and they're not stark raving mad as the Mad King in Game of Thrones. They're like somewhere different or in between. Um, like I didn't feel any animosity towards the characters. Even Maker, when he was like talking shit to Duncan, I was like, okay, he's not acting any different than the guy that was sitting there before him, who wasn't even. So this was a different version of the Targaryens, and I'm not sure whether they're trying to show us something more than the fact that at their dynasty they had a civil war, House of the Dragons, and the next time they're prominent again is when Daenerys becomes. So this is like a, I don't know, thread, like it's needle thread. I don't know, but it's just weird to me.
Yeah, I didn't see anything like obviously they show us an array of characters within that house, and you have the best of them and you have the worst of them, and the worst of them is just like we've seen a petulant king, teenager, whatever, how old he ever he is
Joffrey.
before. So it's not like it wasn't shocking at all, and they didn't try to make it shocking. Like we came in and he's beating up the girl, the dancer or the playwright or whatever you want to call her.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, yeah, I expect that. Like,
Yeah, but
like, but they didn't.
he was the black sheep. I think he kind of said that at one point.
Uh,
Black sheep of the Targaryens.
well, he's the father knows he's not the great. He's not the great one. Um, but he still has the power, and he can still kind of do what he wants, and blah blah blah. But even then, the guy who told Duncan, Egg should have gotten me, but he went to get you. So like
Oh,
there's a real interesting note about the family and about Egg specifically, but also that they recognize that that's not okay. Whereas I think if you go back to House of Dragon
hmm,
and someone was doing that,
no one cared.
did they deserve it?
Yeah,
Whatever. You know what I mean? I think they had a lot more whatever. However they act, you know. So it's just so interesting. They also didn't play up the violence as much. You know what I mean? I think in the like original Game of Thrones, it would have been really dragged out, really brutal, really obvious. You know what I mean?
gotcha.
And I think that's what makes this show different. And it shocked me the whole way through. Was I was waiting for that kind of violence was what I was expecting, but I was expecting it like harsher, dragged out. Like
Yeah, you know what?
they just let her go. Like she just
I
disappeared.
don't think the theme that they wanted to indicate for this show was just like the graphic sex, raping, pillaging. It's more like the dirty ghetto underbelly of King's Landing and Westeros. Like there's a whole episode, that flashback episode, I guess it was the finale, where you could almost smell, like you're like, yeah,
Mm.
like in the original show, you barely left like King's Landing. Like there might be some side streets. And what the season 3 when they had the what do you call that, the wildfire or whatever, the tunnels underneath the septa, but it looked like ancient Rome, right? Whereas this looked like some really impoverished, you know, stuff
Yeah.
like France, 1600s. Um, but yeah, that's
Yeah, when they were stealing the horse hoofs,
and I
the
think it's
stuff
what the
off the
show.
dead
This is
bodies.
the theme that they're trying to bring everything down from that level to like even the Targaryens at that tournament. It didn't look fancy at all. It looked like it's thrown together, and you got the king apparent that's sitting there, the Knights Guard not even within sight. I think they just wanted to bring like that whole high level thinking of Game of Thrones to like this is what it really looks like when no one has any power or connected to any noble house, and I thought that that worked for me.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of when in the original Game of Thrones when shit, what's her name? The little girl.
Arya,
Arya was wandering around on her own from town to town, eating meat pies and stuff
and
like that. That
shucking,
kind of thing, you know?
shucking
Yeah.
hot, hot clams. Anyway, yeah,
You know, I didn't remember her name, right? Because the girl
right,
has no name.
yeah, but
So,
that again,
Right.
those are pockets of scenes in that original Game of Thrones where you could really feel how grimy this world is. But this show to me was amplified that.
oh
and
yeah,
and he's obviously the first main character who has zero power. He's really at everybody's mercy everywhere he goes.
Mhm.
And he's just kind of like good graces, luck of the draw, and that's it.
Also, again, the common man aspect, he barely knows anything about the world around him. Like he doesn't know
Nothing.
how many. Forget about the kingdoms part. Who's king? Target like magic. Like he doesn't know like half that stuff. When he was in the bar, you could see how clueless he's made himself to the world. Where he just doesn't, doesn't know that the fact that the knight has a and it has an oath. It's a lot of things about this character to me that I thought.
Well, I don't think it's that. It's. I think there's a great point to this. It's like, what happens when a guy follows the worst knight? Not the worst knight, but like the worst knight. You know what I mean? Not the guy who's against the knight oath, worst knight. The guy who just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah,
Walks
he's
around
apathetic now to the world, right?
Oh,
drinking,
Sir
having
Arlen. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
And the guy's he goes around, he does odd jobs, as a knight. He drinks, he has sex, and
Chris,
that's it.
you're
Like
you're
that's
making
his
my
life.
point. Like in House of the Dragons, even the douchey knight, what's his name, who's sleeping with the like all the knights just look like this is the like top guard of you being like
Hmm.
accepted as world. But Sir Arlen, no, he's the common
Right.
man's knight.
Crispin, like thinking of
Sir
Crispin,
Crispin, that's his name. Yeah.
he's a terrible knight, but he's also like clean armor, always in a castle, has a place to go, is cavorting with the highest end of society. Whereas this guy, does he talk to another knight? Like
No.
he's in the back alley in the mud, in the back of a bar is how he saves.
Sleeps underneath trees.
Right. So, that talk about the lowest of the high, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the middle class of the night kind of
And
thing.
that shit works.
It's great. It's so good.
All right, well, we're starting to
The
circle jerk
flashback.
this movie. Let's get some critiques.
Sorry. Okay. I don't know. Sir Lionel the Laughing Storm. Like I don't have anything negative to say there.
Oh, is it my turn?
Uh
I'll wait for Mike.
and anybody, like, okay, pick a character. Something. Is there something that bugged you?
I think the only thing that bugged me was somehow, some way, in the original series Game of Thrones, I was able to pick up the different family names versus like the which house they're connected to uh, pretty well. And then obviously by the time we get to House of Dragons, it's everyone knows it. But in this show, it's weird where I'm watching the show and I'm like forgetting who's connected to who. This cousin is with the apple seeds and other than the Targaryens, but even though the Targaryens, I'm like, wait a minute, that's the nephew or the cousin. Is he Baelor's son or is he Maker's son? And I didn't know until like episode 3. You know, that's my only nitpick, and which is like nothing, but it was tough. Maybe
I guess to
it's
that
part of the
extent, you
writing.
feel like Duncan. You feel
Yeah,
like
I felt like
Duncan.
the common man on this podcast. But yeah, it's my only nitpick.
Mike, do you have a nitpick?
I don't know. Besides technically being too short of a
Oh,
season, too short of an
I do
episode
now.
per
'Cause we
episode.
talked about
Yeah.
it, Mike, you and I. The needle drop, not on this show,
Mm.
another show, needle drops.
Oh, the music. I was going to bring it up.
Is
Yeah.
a better nitpicking than what I said earlier. The music,
It was that
including
last song was
whoever's
terrible.
choice was it to bring modern contemporary jazz as a cold open. Somebody was on cocaine. You know, the war on drugs
And
is
then
not over.
And then to finish it with 16 tons.
Oh
Completely
yes, thank you.
unnecessary.
And you told me about. I didn't even heard this yet, so you told me. Yeah, that's a
Ugh.
real nitpicks for me.
It really pulled me out of that episode. I was like, wait, have they done this before? Is this a common thing? Did I just not notice it? And I don't notice music, and it was just like smacked you in the face.
The only time the music worked to me was the obvious beginning of ending of episode 5 when Baylor comes out and after all the theatrics it says I will fight for him, and then you get
that was great.
That was the only time the music worked in this show, and that will definitely affect my grade.
Okay, I guess what about the cousin, the Appleseed cousin? I can't think of his name.
I can't. I'm lost. I usually know these pretty easily.
Like, there was a weird part where he's like, "Yeah, and I got her pregnant, and we're married," and I'm like,
"Oh, I had to look online to see what the
where
joke
did this
was.
come from?"
The joke was
That's Sir Raymond.
So I went online, and people who read the books, the joke was his character is a super common man, and she's like, oh man, Giselle Maxwell. I don't want to use that analogy, but someone who's in that industry knows how to manipulate certain guys. Like he just believed that she's pregnant immediately because they slept the one night, and that's going to be his kid.
Okay.
I didn't pick up on anything
So
until I was reading some online
so
stuff.
there is a character in the original Game of Thrones who she comes up later and she's that character, but she tries to get away and
Oh,
then she
wasn't that
gets
Tyrion's
taken.
girlfriend? Yes,
Yes. Is that the one I'm thinking
yes.
of? I think
Yeah,
so.
she betrayed him.
Yeah, she ends up kind of stuck. She has to like give him up for her own life and
Yeah,
kind of whatever.
Tywin was
Hmm.
on to her.
But yeah, I mean, that's a very common character, but they didn't like emphasize it too much. It kind of stuck out to me, but now that you say that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it doesn't feel like, oh, that's a bad choice. It's just I didn't get it at the time.
Yeah,
I was a little slow, a little Dunkany.
common man.
Okay, last thing I guess we'll bring up is the battle. So that episode was interesting, and it probably was the episode that caused the most you liked it, you didn't, and that is it opens with the battle, and then it immediately within a few minutes jumps to a big flashback,
Isn't that
a
your thing?
big
Anime?
anime flashback of their childhood of the person getting their ass
Someone's gonna
kicked.
die. Once you
Um,
get the flashback, someone's dying.
and at first I was like, I'm always disappointed in that because you get worked up to the battle, and then you know, they just want to drag. It feels like they want to drag it out.
I disagree.
But I'm like, I'm going back and forth on it whether or not it's good. At the end of the day, I kind of like knowing a little bit more about his childhood, knowing a little bit more about how lowly he was, how he got with the knight, and blah blah blah.
I
Still, I'm not great, awesome on the timing, but sure, why not? Whatever.
I would say
What did you guys
I
think?
would sorry, Mike. I gotta follow on this real quick. I would say that if I
Hmm.
didn't actually watch the show and someone was writing to me a story and describe it like that, you would build the crescendo from the previous chapter, beginning of this chapter, the a couple paragraphs, getting ready for war, and then boom, then it's like 20 pages of backstory, and then there's like the last 10 of the ending events. I would say that's not gonna work. It sounds stupid, but in the context of the show where we're watching, with the scenes happening, the editing, the quick editings, and then the boom, the start right into the flashback, and then you develop a story that sees the beginning of why this character is so loyal to people that he meets immediately, and why he envisions being somebody better, but he also realizes shortcomings, right? Like he thinks his mother is gonna come. He knows it's not gonna come back, but he hopes she's gonna come back. But he's got some common man smartness too. When he was like, maybe this is just the best of it. Maybe we're meant to um not trying to figure out something that's better. And then you start weaving that into he meets Sir Arlen, and he admires what Sir Arlen did, but then he doesn't know any better. He thinks this is how all knights act. He didn't dispute anything that Sir Arlen said. And then he's learning, and then he loses that, second person that he loses. But before they end the flashback, they show you how in his what do you call it? Like a tribunal to get to Sir Arlen's respect to
Mm-hmm.
be a squire, he failed, and right at the precipice, Sir Arlen comes up to him and is like, get up, like Rocky style, Mickey. And then they replay it again at the end of the flashback, and it's only really like 5 minutes after that, right? Like you said, this big chunk of this flashback, but it works so well because I don't think the fight, like there was a good 4 5 minute final fight with between what's his name, freaking
Yeah, the prince.
the prince and Duncan, and it's very brutal. And then there's like the opening, but you remember that middle flashback and how it
Mm-hmm.
connects to that final scene when he gets up again, and then he wins the day. It worked, but if I was writing it in a book, it wouldn't have worked.
Right. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Mike, did you did you have an opinion on how that was built?
Tell me how
How
I'm
that
wrong, Mike.
episode was
Go
built?
for it.
I enjoyed those flashbacks actually. That worked for me. That whole thing. So yeah, it gave us insight into Duncan a little more, um, and I think it was executed well technically.
The execution
So
more so
well
than
edited.
the
Yeah.
script.
hmm So
Yeah, and I think this is one of those shows, and I'm gonna bring up Andor too
Oh,
here.
the
Is
Holy
that
Grail.
when people start making Instagram reels or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, did you see this?" And you start watching those, and you go, "That's freaking awesome!" Like this is one of those shows that I've seen a lot of stuff where I'm going, "Oh yeah, this is deep." Every frame is really thoughtful, and you're enjoying it as you're watching. I'm very much a person who watches. I'm in a thing. I know I'm enjoying it because I'm in it. I'm not worried about you know cinematography, and I'm not thinking about music,
You're not me.
and I'm not thinking about. I'm just kind of involved in the story, and that's how I know I really really like something. Um, but then like when I want to go back and review it and see it again, and then you're like, oh man, I didn't miss this, but it didn't register that's why this meant so much because this and this are connected and this look the same and this are built the same way on purpose to bring you along like that. And I think this is a show that does that spectacularly.
yeah,
I concur.
I'm with you there.
All right, I think we just got to go to grades before we finish this show.
Short season, short review.
Well,
Because wasn't
again, it's not something like even if I spoil this and tell you Duncan's alive at the end, like what does that mean to you? That's this
nothing.
show. It's not one of those
It's a
shows where you're
character you
like,
have no, unless you're a book reader, you don't know whether this character lives and like right before Game of Thrones. You just know this character is in a separate
and he
timeline.
can take a lot of shots to the head with a mace. Holy damn!
Yeah, he's Rocky. He was Rocky.
Yeah,
All right,
pretty much.
I'll let you guys go first. Mike, what's your grade?
I'm going to give this one an A. Excellent show. Excellent Game of Thrones world show following that House of the Dragon last season. I'm hoping new season of House coming soon. Hope it kind of follows in this footsteps a little with the storyline and writing and stuff. So
All right, James.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Mike. It's an A, straight A. The only reason why it's not an A plus is because the music, a lot of things took me out at some key moments. If it wasn't for that, this would have been an A plus for me. But it's an A.
Mhm. Well, I'm gonna agree with you. I don't feel maybe there was to you guys. I didn't feel like there was that key moment that Andor. I hate bringing them up. The Andor moment where you're like, this is just sticks with me forever.
No,
Like there was a lot of great moments, a lot of good moments, but I don't think there
nah,
was
no
something
speeches,
that
nothing.
broke the mold to A plus to me. But it's definitely an A series. Uh, it breaks the Game of Thrones mold a little bit in
It
that
does,
sense.
and just to use my grading system with it, why not an A plus? Andor is a perfect example where you marry a great score with great performances. Whereas this show, great performances, underwhelming music and score.
Okay, I could see that. I mean, you don't want Andor to drop a Susie and the Banshee soundtrack or something
No, thank
at
you.
the end.
Please do not. They're gonna play rap next season. Holy shit! If they come with Flavor Flav, fuck. They could, or
Public Enemy
DMX
to
as he's
finish. To,
writing their first mission.
oh
Here,
my god.
I would lose my mind. Yo, we laugh now.
get
That
your
shit could
motor
happen.
running. Head out on the highway. Yeah.
All right,
All right. That's it. It's still peak TV. I think 3 A's. That's peak TV.
Wonder Man.
Not with excitement, but with a
This was the
definitely
third
high
one.
recommendation. Have we ever?
No, he's saying the three of us gave
Oh,
it
he said
A's,
three
right?
TVs or 3 shows, straight A's. Wonder Man was an A too.
Was he? I don't know. Are you?
What?
Were we all A on Wonder Man?
Oh, maybe we were A minus.
I can't even remember last week.
Yeah, never mind.
I think it was.
Yep. Yeah.
Could be. Wait, I wasn't on that one.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. That's why we couldn't pull the peak TV.
Replace
Mike
Mike
wasn't there to do it.
Sandra.
That was
in an
Sandra.
edit. That's perfect.
I couldn't tell the difference, Mike. You're looking good this week.
Thank you.
Pause.
Appreciate it.
All right, it's time. Getting punchy.
All right, guys. Mike, where can people find us to tell us what is their favorite night of the Seven Kingdoms?
True Social.
The fuck?
What?
Don't joke like that, dude.
No, we're all over the internet. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky.
We are not in
you name it, we're pretty much there.
Not there.
Yep, we are not on the flight logs,
Nope.
folks. So feel good about that one. And we did not attend the White House dinner with U.S. hockey
Well,
team.
I know why
either.
you didn't attend.
Right,
You're
we
Canadian.
turned down that invitation.
You're Canadian.
I can't
That's
do
right.
You couldn't have
McDonald's.
attend. Sorry. You're denied. We beat you. Chris and I elected not to attend.
I can't do the McDonald's anymore.
You want to brag about it, but Canada has 9 goals versus U.S. 3.
Wait, you sound
so.
like fucking like my Yankees. We got 30s. Yeah, we haven't won in 15 years.
All right, everybody. I appreciate you joining us. We will be back eventually again
Next week.
doing something.
We might have some quick peeks.
I don't even know what I'm watching
We
anymore.
might have some quick peeks. The Pitt's doing well.
Chris will be debuting his anime channel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
2036.
we'll be doing that.
His kids will be doing that podcast.
There you go.
Then it might get done.
All right.
All right, everybody.
See ya.
Hey, Indigo made the beat.